Taking up legislation and holding several hearings on the issue of federal funding for Planned Parenthood.
To defund Planned Parenthood, cut off that $500 million.
On a government funding bill that would defund Planned Parenthood.
A proposal by President Trump that calls for the return of a Reagan-era rule banning facilities like Planned Parenthood from providing abortions.
Women who count on Planned Parenthood and other organizations for health services may have to look elsewhere.
Today we'll be addressing the defunding of Planned Parenthood and topics such as the rights to abortions and coverage of birth control.
A relevant debate in 2020 regarding abortion is pro-choice versus pro-life. Pro-choice is when you believe that it is your body, your choice, and that abortion should be legalized, and pro-life is when you believe they should not be legal.
I saw what happened to young women who became pregnant at a time when abortion was not legal in this country. I saw the trips to Mexico. I saw young women try to hurt themselves, and it was really deeply, deeply concerning.
We have to acknowledge and recognize that putting up these barriers doesn't mean an end to abortions. It just means greater risk to abortions. Women will be forced to find access to care in places that are essentially underground, unregulated, that don't have the professionalism and the safety standards that otherwise might. This has been going on for as long as men and women have been around, literally. The idea that putting additional obstacles in place is going to end it is just false.
Mr. Kennedy's point is a good one, that abortion has existed for all of human history, and the debate on it is not new. As we know, the debate is still very relevant today, and this is reinforced by the current events in Massachusetts, that is the attempt to pass the Roe Act. This is a bill that will expand rights to abortions, and both Joe Kennedy and Representative Claire Cronin spoke to us on what it's all about.
The Roe bill, which distinguishes whether or not abortions should be legalized, came before her and her committee, and they decided to pass it. She also explained that recently there was a new bill that had been passed, lowering the age of abortion without parent consent from age 18 to age 16. She believes that this is important because the age of consent in Massachusetts is 16, so by then you should be able to control what you do with your own body.
A bill to try to expand and protect access to necessary reproductive care in Massachusetts at a critical time, where we're seeing extremely strong currents at a national level for over the course of the past literally decades, try to capture, reframe, and reconfigure what this debate on abortion is, I think, really all about.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was asked several questions about her views on whether the Constitution protects a woman's right to abortion. And she explained it like this, and I quote, "The decision whether or not to bear a child is central to a woman's life, to her well-being and dignity. It's a decision she must make for herself. When government controls that decision for her, she is being treated as less than a fully adult human, responsible for her own choice." End quote.
We also interviewed Father Brad from Holy Cross Church as a pro-life perspective for this topic. He believes that abortions go against the church's teachings of thou shalt not kill, which means abortions are not allowed. It is believed that a person is a gift from God and that there's a reason a woman becomes pregnant, and that should not be reckoned with. Father Brad did state that he still supports those who get abortions and ask for forgiveness for him because he understands the emotional strain that it causes these women. One of the main points that was highlighted is that they believe their tax money should not be going towards Planned Parenthood because they do not support abortion.
Half of pregnancies in the U.S. are unplanned, and there's a wide gap between the most affluent women who are likely to have access to the most reliable forms of birth control and those from lower income households. Beata Matsvabi.
Members of the so-called pro-life movement, what they actually try to do is put these additional barriers that are affecting only largely lower income women who will struggle to get access to additional care because they can't do things like get on a plane and fly someplace where abortions can be more readily provided. So it just ends up being an enormous barrier of access to care for lower income women.
In our interview with Father Brad, Margaret Dwyer Hogan, the leader of Faith Formation at Holy Cross Church, weighed in when we asked about the coverage of birth control in the workplace. In summary, she said that an organization should not be obligated to cover these things, and that if someone doesn't like the coverage the job offers, they should consider just getting a new job. She also said that if your job falls under a Catholic organization, it's unfair to assume they would cover things like birth control because it goes against their beliefs. But in our interview with Massachusetts Rep. Claire Cronin, she believed the contrary. She believes that birth control should be covered by the workplace just like any other medication is. And she backs this by stating that birth control isn't just for preventing pregnancy and has many more health benefits for women.
Planned Parenthood offers so much support for so many areas for women. So little of what they do is abortions. It's screenings for cancer, it's access to birth control. And if you were to take that away, it would end up in a lot of people not getting access to care that they might need.
In our interview with Father Brad and Miss Hogan, they explained that they also agree with these other aspects of Planned Parenthood and think they're important for women to have access to. They explained they would maybe support the funding of Planned Parenthood more if abortion was separate from all the other health care Planned Parenthood provides, since they don't support abortion and don't want their tax dollars going to it.
During our interview with Massachusetts State Representative Claire Cronin, she expressed her opinions on Planned Parenthood and why she believes it is important for men and women's overall health care. To summarize, her main message throughout the whole entire interview was that at the end of the day, this is a constitutional right and that Planned Parenthood exists in order to make sure that women are conducting abortions safely and legally, and that health care for all men and women is always accessible and provided.
Our views on this topic are that Planned Parenthood should be funded because of its many benefits. Abortion should be legalized because that ensures safe abortions. It is a woman's choice whether or not they want to have an abortion, and we also believe that birth control should be covered by a workplace so that a woman does not have to go in debt due to that.